ahora a un tema muy importante, no sé si me alcanza, o tendré que desarrollarlo en una unidad separada.
We will now address a very important issue, the need to create a new kind of representative system for a socialist democracy. People talk a lot about direct democracy. Have you heard about Athenian democracy in Greece, which was defined as a direct democracy? People made proposals in large assemblies. Although it was understood that all the people were citizens, only the males really counted. The females did not play any role. Slaves also were not considered citizens. However, it was said to be the perfect democracy. It is called direct democracy because of the possibility that when such an assembly makes its view known, its decisions are taken into account. The assembly decides, and that decision is what is applied. How could we put such assemblies into practice? What size groups would make participation possible for democracy to take place? Obviously, if there are assemblies of 2,000, 4,000, or even 200,000 persons, it is not possible. We find direct democracy in Venezuela in the communal councils. It should have to be put into practice in workers' councils, in workshops, in educational councils, cultural ones, etc. Clearly, it is a matter of small spaces. So, how are questions at the state, provincial, or national level to be decided? Obviously, at the levels of direct democracy, it is not possible. You cannot expect the citizens of Pinar del Rio to decide on a policy for that province. Neither, obviously, can all the citizens of Caracas decide about transport in Caracas. Obviously, some system of representation or delegation has to be created. That is, I have to elect somebody who will go to a place where not everybody can be. As the bourgeois representative system has deteriorated so much, people reject it because they see that the persons selected are completely separate from those whom they represent, the electorate. They never consult, never are accountable, and do what they want. During the electoral campaign, many promises are made, but after being elected, they do not keep those promises, and they have no contact with their electors. It is for this reason that representative democracy has been rejected in Venezuela. But I stress there has to be some system of representation. In Venezuela, it has been called vocería. The person who is elected to work on behalf of the group is called a spokesperson, not a representative. The word spokesperson is important because it means the voice of the group. And if the group's decisions are not followed, this person can be recalled. So I think in socialism we must not have to eliminate the whole system of representation. We criticize bourgeois representative democracy not for being representative, but for not being representative enough, because the representatives do not represent the electors. That is, they are not the voice of the electors. They set themselves apart from the electors. We have discussion on this with some comrades who do not want to understand that one cannot have only direct democracy. There has to be another kind of democracy, which we like to call delegate democracy or spoken person democracy, so as not to use the widely rejected term representative.
Ahora entraría rápidamente, que sería la parte final, las características de estos representantes. Profundizando la idea del sistema.
Deepening the idea of the kind of political system that we need, we would say that the big challenge for socialism of the 21st century is to construct a new system of representation by delegation or spokespersons that will be truly democratic and will be the true expression of the popular sectors of workers and of the society in general. It is about a decision-making process on the part of the whole society, not on the part of 4 or 5 persons, but by everyone and from all the spheres of the social life. In other words, a process of socializing decision-making in which the persons elected should be elected at community or workplace assemblies or interest groups, and they must be accountable to those electors. To make this possible, the bourgeois representative system of democracy must be replaced by another system of representation, similar to what historically Marx saw in the Paris Commune, a new state that springs from below. What were the characteristics of the Paris Commune? Through insurrection, the people of Paris destroyed the existing state, and delegates were named similar to the Venezuelan spoken person. Delegates were elected in assemblies, were accountable to the assemblies, and had the same salaries as an ordinary worker, and could be recalled if they ceased to be the voice of the community. So Marx saw that the state, which until then has been built over the people, like the boss that orders us, disciplines us, repressed us, etc., now it was a state being built by the people themselves to meet their needs. And if a delegate did not follow his mandate, he was criticized and removed from his position.
Entonces, este sistema se caracteriza, primero.
So this new system of delegation or of spokesperson is as follows. The delegate, the spokesperson, are elected at their workplace or where they live, and they continue being linked to the social base that elected them, the community, their workplace. The electors do not transfer their rights. They do not say, do what you want. They are always watching to ensure that decisions taken by the assembly are carried out. That is why, not like in the bourgeois representative system in which the elected person does what he or she wants, the delegate or spokesperson have to follow the direction of their electors. However, one thing needs to be clarified. The mandate that the delegate or spokespersons have is not what has been called the imperative mandate. The assembly gives you a mandate and you should accomplish it in any case. That is how it's often interpreted. But it sometimes happens that the mandate which the delegate or spokesperson brings forward is in conflict with those of other communities. Then those conflicting issues have to be analyzed by all of the delegates. Maybe a problem that the one community established as priority is secondary compared to problems of other communities. Therefore, that delegate or spokesperson decides to postpone the work that his or her community has chosen, because the other community is in much more worse situation. If the mandate was imperative and the delegate was simply a mailbox, he or she could not change that mandate. Here it is an issue of mandate which the delegate has the power to decide how to handle the new situation. Now, what those delegates have to do, they have to return to their community, and there they have to explain why they changed the community's decision. If the community does not accept the explanation, that delegate will have to recall because he or she has ceased to be the voice of the community. So there is a whole lot of educational work that the delegate or spokesperson has to do with the community. Fundamentally, the participation process is a process of popular education. Now, if the community is incapable of understanding because it has neither the maturity nor solidarity, then you will have, as they say, the government you deserve. That community probably will elect a representative who is much more individualistic, that is, until it matures. Another characteristic of the delegate or spokespersons is that their responsibility do not end when they are elected. They continually have to pass information back to the community and take new directions from her. There is a relationship, both dialectic and continuing, with the community. When the community does not feel it is being interpreted correctly by the delegates, they can be recalled because they are no longer the voice of the community.